Fred is how old?
4.
A 4-year-old Maltese who was raised from a puppy and didn't really have any behavioral issues until after Thanksgiving, or excuse me, after Halloween. And we live in a neighborhood, Fred lives in a neighborhood, I should say, where there was a lot of people that came by. And so the doorbell was ringing nonstop, and the kids were probably, obviously dressed up and whatnot. Ever since then, Fred has become very nervous about anybody who comes into his home. So one of the things I asked the guardian was if people try to pet the dog to teach him that they're a good person. And sometimes yes, and sometimes no. We're kind of a 50-50 split on that. The problem with petting a dog when it's an unbalanced state of mind is we're nurturing that state of mind. So I like to practice something I call petting with a purpose, which helps my clients kind of start adding some structure to providing attention and affection. So when a dog, I consider petting a dog our way of paying them. So if when Fred comes up and nudges, which he likes to stick his nose underneath our hand, and a lot of dogs do this, and that's Fred's way of saying, hey, pet me, pay attention to me. Well, that's okay, but at the same time, it's telling Fred that let me back up. It's okay, but I would prefer to have Fred look at himself as a follower because I think it's going to alleviate a lot of his anxiety, by removing the responsibility of thinking that he's an equal. And so we talked about adding some rules and structure, but if he comes up, nudges us, and tells us what to do, and we do it, we're validating that, yes, you're the boss of me, and when you tell me what to do, I comply. So we, of course, don't want to refrain from petting Fred because that's a good thing. It's healthy for us. It's healthy for the dog. But adding some structure to it can go a long ways. So what I usually suggest my clients do is next time the dog nudges you, instead of petting him, give him a counter order. Ask him to sit. I just learned a little sign language. Or use your hand to put him in a sit. As soon as he sits, then I pet him and I say the word sit. Now, a lot of people talk to their dog too much. Oh, Fred, you're such a smart dog. How did you know I wanted you to get down and sit? Well, I said sit last. So the most important word, the command word, is actually last. Now, talking to our dogs is a good, healthy thing. But if we talk too much in the process of conditioning them or training them to do something, it's confusing. Just like learning a foreign language, if you only know a couple words and somebody comes and says those couple words, you know what they said. But if they came and say a long sentence and then add those words in it, you might not even hear the words because your brain is racing to search your vocabulary to keep up. So what I do is when I pet the dog, I prefer to scratch him under his chin. When a dog is proud about what it's doing, its nose is parallel to the ground or tilted up. Those of you who have dogs have probably seen a dog walk around the house with a favorite toy with his nose in the air, feels really good about himself. I want Fred to feel good about himself for engaging in what I call desired behaviors. So next time he nudges us, instead of petting him, we're going to hold up our hand like this or give him the hand signal to sit. And as soon as he sits, we're going to reach over within 3 seconds, pet him under his chin, and say the word sit simultaneously as soon as we start petting him. It needs to be a 3-second window. Whenever you correct or reward a dog, you need to do it within 3 seconds for the dog to connect the two things because dogs learn through association. So your timing is very, very important. So if he sits and then you get him a little massage, starts feeling good about sitting down, and then instead of eventually what's going to happen is he's going to transition from nudging to coming and sitting in front of you and saying, look, I'm sitting, shouldn't you be paying attention to me or petting me? And whenever possible, we do want to do that. Otherwise, he's just going to go back to nudging or scratching at us. Now, this is I'll give you a little sidebar with this. One of the things you can also do is train a dog to do anything that it does on its own by immediately rewarding it in that 3-second window after it does it. So if the dog lays down and your dog doesn't know how to lay down on command, he comes and lays down at your feet, reach over and start petting him and say whatever the command word is the second you start petting him. Even though he did it first, we're still rewarding the actual act of it. After a while, the dog will associate, just like Pavlov's response, the action with the reward with the actual command, and then they're analogous to one another, and you can just say the command word and the dog engages in it. Petting with a purpose is probably the easiest thing that you can do that's going to have the biggest impact on your dog. Now, it's going to take a little bit of time because you're just so used to it. The dog comes over, you just reach over and pet. You don't even think about it. So when you catch yourself, stop, immediately ask the dog to sit, and then say the word sit. But if you get into a habit of doing it, after a while, you'll be on the phone, and you're like, oh my God. And then the kid brought this to school. I couldn't believe that he brought his father's whatever magazine. And you put the dog to sit, and you're scratching him while you're having the conversation on the phone simultaneously. And if you get in a habit of doing it, then every time you do it, that's like a little mini dog behavior training session that you engage in every time you pet your dog, and you don't even think about it. So it seems ridiculously easy, But just simply asking your dog to sit or lie down and then petting immediately afterwards will really help to cultivate a healthy leader-follower dynamic, which in Fred's case should help alleviate a little bit of the stress that comes from the pressure of feeling responsible for the human. And once he identifies as a follower, like I ask her to, and then if sometimes yes, sometimes no. But if I'm asking, then I identify she's got everything covered. I don't have to cover it myself. I don't have to be worried about who's coming in. I can count on my guardian to handle that for me. So that's a quick little synopsis of how we want to pet our dogs with a little bit of structure, or what I like to call petting with a purpose.